Hi everybody, welcome back. My name's Alison, the online piano and the online violin tutor. Today I'm going to do a tutorial on HOWL'S Moving Castle, the merry-go-round of life for easy violin. If you want to know where to get the free sheet music that I have arranged, then it'll be linked directly underneath this video where you can download that from. I've got an easy piano tutorial available for this as well, so I will link that directly underneath the video as well. And if I've got a violin performance of this, I will link that in the description underneath this video as well. If I haven't, then I will link the original video to this that I was using as a reference, so that video will be exactly the same as this. So if you want to know how to play this, then let's get going. So you guys know the drill with this by now. You'll see finger numbers above every single note, and above that you'll see some letters. Those letters refer to the strings that your fingers are going to be on at that time. So let's get going with some of the most difficult parts. Now, I'm not going to play this all the way through because I will either have a video performance of me playing this, or I will link to the original video that I was using to reference this from, which will be exactly the same as this. There aren't any repeats in this, so this is good. There are just one or two little bits that you probably need to be aware about, but as I said, I'm not going to play it all the way through because it isn't going to sound good just from my microphone picking this up, and it's just going to make the video so much longer. So the one thing you need to be aware of are your finger ones when you have them are going to be, for the B flat. So on the A string, they're all going to be in a back position. So they're not going to be on the dot where they normally are. They're going to be as far back as you can possibly get them. When you have E's, as in, the E string, do not play the open E. You need to play E flats. Obviously, if it says E natural, then that's fine. But there are B flats and E flats in this piece, so no open E's. What you'll need to do is play a fourth finger instead on the A string, and that will be going right next to where the third finger would go. So just starting off. Fourth finger here. This one for the F, so we're in bar or measure 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, measure 16, bar 16, the last note in that bar, the F, that's got to be a back one, so not on the dot because it's going to give you F sharp, but you've got to be back. That you've got from 25 and 24. It kind of slows down a little bit there. So again, where I've got open strings, do open strings. Where I've got fourth fingers instead of open strings, it's either because you cannot do an open string, i.e. it might be because you've got to play an E flat instead of an E natural, or it might be better for you to do a fourth finger. So normally I don't really put fourth fingers in because they are a lot easier to do open strings. If you guys want to do some different fingerings, some different notes in any of this, absolutely go ahead and change it however you feel that you want to change it. Okay, so moving on. So that's kind of like the little sort of introduction part there. The next bit is pretty much a repeat, but it does change a little bit. So we're at 46 now. Okay, so we are 1, 2, 3. We're going on the fourth line from the bottom. Fourth line from the bottom. We're starting at bar. We'll measure 53. Actually, 54. So 53, 54, 55, 56. So can you see what I'm doing there? It's just a normal G, or a back second finger, a back one, an open E, a D sharp. So that's got to be, can you see a D would be there? D sharp is just slightly above the dot. Open E, a back second finger, so it's going to be right next to the first finger would go. And then a one, a back one, open E, a normal third finger on the dot. Your second finger for C sharp is right behind the dot, a normal third finger. And then you want a back second finger for C natural. And then a back one, as you have been doing. A normal one, because it's a B natural, so one on the dot. And then a C sharp, so it's going to be next to the third. And then a normal third finger. So perhaps if I just show you again from 53. Okay, so that is that little bit there. Then we're moving on. There's nothing tricky there apart from you've got some E flats there that you've got to put in, which is easy because you can just put the third finger, you can just put the fourth finger right behind the third finger. Then the next bit, so you've got a back one. Okay, so from the... So your second fingers for those G's are going to be back, so they're going to be right next door to where the first finger. So remember, the first finger is going to be back. All the first fingers are going to be back. So the first finger on the E string is back, first fingers on the A string are back, and the first fingers on the D string are going to be back as well. So the second finger needs to be just in front of where the first fingers would normally be if the first fingers were on the dot there. So... that's fairly self-explanatory. This next bit, you've got a C sharp, open A normal B, a C sharp again, an open E, a back second finger, and then a normal one on the dot. So you want a B flat for that next note there, and that is in the same position as where we had our E flat, which was just above the third finger, but it's just going to be just above the third finger on the E string. Put it right next door. And then this next little bit, it's up to you if you want to do fourth fingers or open strings. I have done fourth fingers because it's probably what I would do. The next bit where it says pause then really slow, this is to go with the backing track that I've done as well. So I have arranged an orchestrated version of this backing track if you guys want the backing track that goes with it, so that'll be linked underneath as well. So from there you want a back E, so it's E flat, so it's not the dot, it's going to be a back like it was before, and an A flat. So an A flat is in the same position as where we had those other fourth fingers. So we're on the D string, and then we've got the fourth finger just jammed in, right behind just where the third finger is, which is why there's a fourth finger on it. Okay, so the difference between that and the bit that we did at the start, because it's gone up a little bit, it's changed, is that your first fingers are no longer back. Your first fingers are going to be on the dot. Your second fingers are still going to be back next to where the first fingers would normally go, same as they were before, but your first fingers are just going to be sitting on the dot now. It's up to you if you want to do open strings or fourth fingers. I've kind of left that to you, whichever you feel is easier. But that little bit is kind of self-explanatory. The only difficulty with this, I think, is just putting it together with the music. The difficulty, I think, is when you're doing the last four lines. So 120, 98, from 117. bit that you've got there. Now the hardest part is probably 120. That's not particularly difficult, but it's just very kind of with the fingers. So just a case of practicing that. Directly underneath that at bar 127. Sorry. So bar 127. It's probably easier if I just play from 27, 26, 25 just up close so you can just see what I'm doing with my fingers. So from 125. Okay, so if I just explain what I've done there. So at 127, you've either got an open A or a fourth finger for the A. It's completely up to you. I'll do an open since it's there. Now the 3 is in its normal position, which is going to be on the dot there. The 2 for an F sharp is going to be jammed in right behind it. The 1 is going to be an F natural, which is in other words an E sharp. An E sharp has been written here, but it's an F natural. You wouldn't really put F sharp to F natural, you'd put an E sharp. An E sharp is an F natural. So we're going to have a third finger, sorry, on that string we're going to have a third finger for, so an open A or a fourth finger A, whichever. Then we're going to have a third finger for the G. The second finger is going to be right behind it. The first finger is going to be pretty much sort of next to that, where the just above the red dot, in other words. Second finger goes back where it would normally go, and then back to the fourth finger for the A. I would do a fourth finger instead of an open A here, just because of the kind of fiddliness of it all. After that, you've got a 3, which is in a normal position. Then you've got another F sharp, which is just going to be right behind it. Then you've got a normal 1. Then you've got a D sharp, which is a back 1. A normal 1 for the E again, which is just, so you are kind of 1, 1, 1. But I mean, that's just the way it is. There are a couple of other options that you would do, but that kind of makes it even more complicated. So just for the sake of making it easier, it's just going to be 1, 1, 1, and then you're back to fourth finger for the E, normal 3, normal E, 3, 2, 1, a stretched 2 for the C sharp, and a stretched 3 for the D sharp as well. So in 127, 28, 29, 130, you can't do an open string there. The reason why you can't do an open E string is because you're going from 1 on the D. It's a little bit too. It's a bit. And you can't also jump from the D string to an E string as well without hitting all the other strings and getting that kind of sound in the middle. So don't do that. Okay, so just moving on, the next line, you've got all the same sort of notes that we've just covered. The last line, so you can see those little lines through the notes. That means that you're playing them twice in a way. It's just you see that abbreviated often in orchestras. I'm talking about these little lines here on all these notes here that you may not have seen before. So instead of you playing you're going to be going. So the normal timing would be. If you don't want to do that and you can't manage that, then don't do that. Just do the normal notes. It's completely up to you what you want to do there. So there we go. Hopefully this this tutorial hasn't been too long. I can see it's just coming up for 20 minutes now. Hopefully I can cut that down a little bit. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Don't forget all the links are going to be directly underneath this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.